we won't make it. We will not survive 3 years.
It feels like we're just going for hope here, and hope isn't what we need.
Hundreds of residents of the Rio Verde Foothills north of Scottsdale living without water service for almost 2 months. Just imagine that. Their protests and pleas are a national symbol of the impact of Arizona's mega drought. Now there's a new symbol, something more real than hope. What's happening in the foothills is a troubling chapter in the larger story about how we deal with the water crisis in the West. You know the old line, whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting. But now, thanks to the work of elected officials at 4 different levels here in Arizona, it appears we have a new symbol of cooperation. The Scottsdale City Council on Tuesday will review a plan to deliver water to the foothills. If all the pieces fall into place, the water could be flowing again within weeks. Joining us now is an elected official who was the target of protest and is now a key player in finding a solution, Mayor David Ortega of Scottsdale. Welcome to Square Off.
Thank you for having me, Brahm.
Good to see you. You've made a lot of enemies over the last several months. I want to read back to you a statement you made in December and quote, "There is no Santa Claus. The mega drought tells us all water is not a compassion game." It seemed for a long time you were a hard no on doing anything to help the Rio Verde homeowners. Why didn't you believe you had to help?
Arizona is on a collision course with the mega drought. And as mayor, I have been involved both at the federal level, state level, and now at the county level to find solutions. And for decades, Scottsdale has built up a resilient and a diverse portfolio within our own jurisdiction. At this point, we are the most prepared for our encounter with the mega drought. In contrast with unincorporated areas, which have skirted those entire issues.
And let's be clear, as Attorney General Mays said, Rio Verde Foothills is an unincorporated area. They are not in Scottsdale, but over the years they have received water through Scottsdale and a pipe up in the foothills.
Well, I'm speaking about today and don't want to get back into the history. I've been mayor for 2 years and obviously confronted upon taking office the COVID, and now we have the mega drought. So I am very engaged for all of those issues, and we're moving forward because the unincorporated areas are wards of the county. They are not stepchild to Scottsdale. And for that reason, with the favorable opinion by AG Mays, we can move forward on a jurisdictional level.
So is that why all of a sudden we see this change of heart from Scottsdale's mayor? The Attorney General issued this opinion that allows the county to strike a deal to supply water through the conduit of Scottsdale. Is that the key here, why you changed your mind and are part of this?
Well, when Supervisor Galvin was first appointed, he came to City Hall and met with me. And at that point, I told him it was all on the county and the state. However, they proceeded to somehow bash or feel that the mayor of Scottsdale could turn against all of the drought management plan and all the very deliberate steps that we were taking to protect our water system. So I was rather blunt in saying that, we have to provide and prepare for all of the needs of 250,000 people in Scottsdale. Now, until the supervisors received that clarification, they tended to come at me thinking that somehow Mayor Ortega could solve the mega drought. And that was not possible.
So here's my question. Why did it take a state representative who lives in Globe, not even Maricopa County, who lives in Globe, to go to the Attorney General and say, please issue this opinion? Why couldn't you, as mayor of Scottsdale, have done that weeks or even months ago, given, again, there was a relationship here? Why couldn't you have done that? And was that even talked about?
Well, Scottsdale always delivered the message that the problem originated at the county and the state level, and that their initiative would actually resolve the situation.
So this had nothing to do with Scottsdale, even though you had been delivering water to Rio Verde Foothills for decades.
You know, not so. There was fair warning, and if you want to go back in history and explain that, the original problem was that the unincorporated areas had unrestrained building with no assured water whatsoever.
Which is what,
and I
Attorney
cannot
General Mays was
explain
talking about.
the previous mayor's position, as I say, and I want to be very direct about this, that we have to have responsible parties. The responsible party is the jurisdictions, not 500 scattered people in an unincorporated area.
Let's move on to what the council will do on Tuesday. Will there be a vote on an agreement to provide water to Rio Verde Foothills homeowners?
I put the deal points on the table in discussion with Senator Cook back on January 20th.
Representative Cook.
Representative Cook. Sure. And by the way, I'm from Globe as well. I grew up in Globe.
Oh.
I've been in Scottsdale for 44 years, right? So all of those deal points are public knowledge and include some performance on the part of the county to act as, in effect, a utility for their constituents.
So let's race ahead to what the outcome of the meeting is likely to be and then discuss the deal points. What is the end result of this meeting going to be, and then what would happen next?
What Scottsdale has done is we've put an IGA, intergovernment agreement format on the table, and the county will hopefully accept our points, and the council will vote to move that forward to the county for their analysis, and hopefully that will result in a signed agreement.
So negotiations, that will allow negotiations to begin and likely result in an agreement.
Sure.
Let's talk about some specifics. Where's the water coming from?
Well, the water, Scottsdale has always had a wide portfolio from Native nations, as well as direct ownership of CAP water and SRP water through the Arizona Salt River Basin. So we have a very complex and strong relationship with sources, and part of the agreement says that Scottsdale, this is contingent on Scottsdale acquiring the water for sale to the county. Then the county would retail sell the water to those particular constituents.
I've been told that the Gila River Indian community could provide that water. Is that what you're looking at?
Absolutely. And we have, we're already buying 6,000 or 7,000 acre feet from the Gila River.
What about the concern that I discussed with Attorney General Mays that builders will now see this as a green light? Rio Verde Foothills is getting water again. Builders will see this as a green light to start developing again. What would stop that from happening?
Well, one provision and deal point is an agreement with the county, if they accept it, is that they put a halt to this rampant building, or at least get a handle.
How do they do that? State law. How does a county do that without getting a SB 1487 complaint lodged against them?
With the same authority that declared the emergency. In other words, the emergency as declared is statutory within state law, county law, and certainly at the city level. So for that reason, they would be able to declare a certain emergency situations, go through a public process, and that is part of their duty as well.
Was it your opposition to EPCOR, a large water company, that will be involved in this solution, eventually delivering water to the foothills, it appears, with regulatory approvals? Was it your opposition to EPCOR that prevented a deal from getting done earlier, and specifically to EPCOR providing the water to Rio Verde Foothills, again, in an arrangement similar to this?
Absolutely not. EPCOR is a third-party provider. again, Scottsdale is a sophisticated city, and we're looking for jurisdiction to jurisdiction.
But you're going to have a third-party provider, the Gila River Indian Community.
They're a first-party provider because we already purchased from them.
I see.
Oh, we
So
already
purchase
have
more water from them.
We have an account with several tribes, including San Carlos up near Globe.
Okay. Can the Rio Verde Foothills homeowners, given a lot of bad water under the bridge, so to speak, can the Rio Verde Foothills homeowners trust you to negotiate this in good faith?
You know, I have put all the terms on the table with the controlling jurisdiction. They can be read and discussed in public on Tuesday, and certainly we have to deal directly. It's not personal with any group in any unincorporated area. My shareholders are the voters and the owners of properties in Scottsdale. And we are certainly ready, willing, and able to deal directly with a first-party agreement with the county. From there, we are also saying that they should manage the custody of that precious water to whomever and however those accounts are opened by the county for their constituents. We have no direct relationship with any individuals in Rio Verde Foothills.
And how likely is it their water bills will go up as a result of this? Not necessarily because of anything you have done, just will their water bills go up now on the foothills?
We are in the midst of a mega drought. Every citizen in Maricopa County is going to have an increase of water. I'm a member of the Arizona Municipal Water Users Group, and we can, the writing's on the wall. So it's a market condition that any municipality has to deal with. And again, I'm not managing their checkbook or managing their financial decisions of individuals buying land or house with no water. They don't have water for 4 days, 40 days, 40 years. It's unfortunate that those wildcat subdivisions and that the state, and I believe Representative Cook is going to take some positive action to say, let's get a handle on this and let the unincorporated areas also have 100-year water assurance, just as the cities do.
And so just to be clear, there was nothing else you could have done before this date, 8 weeks, these folks going out without water. There was nothing you could have done, no deal offered to you, that would have provided water before that deadline you had set at the beginning of the year.
There was such a mixed bag of ideas coming from a trucker, coming from EPCOR, coming from individuals.
The county?
That thought nothing actually from the county until we got the opinion from Chris Mays. So,
okay, I'm sorry, Mayor, got to end it there. This has been a great discussion. Mayor David Ortega, thank you so much for joining us.
Good. So
you can see all of our Sunday Square Off coverage on 12news.com or on our YouTube channel. Go to 12news.com/YouTube.